Hello everyone, it's Old Guardian here. In this how to play video I'm going to take a look at Even Handlock. Did you think that Handlock was dead? Well, I thought so too, and so did everyone else, but actually the power of Gen Greymane just might be enough to bring Handlock back, even if just a little. If you try to play Handlock without Gen, you're basically playing just a weaker version of cubes, but with Gen you have one advantage on your side. Your hero power costs only 1 mana, and because your hero power costs only 1 mana, that means that you can tap already on turn 1, which means that when you're on the coin, you can play a Mountain Giant on turn 3. And if you're on the play, you can still play Mountain Giant only on turn 4 like everyone else, but you can also play a 2-drop on 3 alongside all of your tapping. So you're actually getting to the big minions faster than any other deck in the game. And there has got to be some value in that, right? There is a hefty price to pay though. No Stonehill Defenders for you, no Doom Guards, no Carnivorous Cubes, no Void Lords even. So this deck is not a fatigue deck. I would not play Blood River Gul'dan in Even Warlock or Even Handlock, because you simply don't want the game to go that long. You're not playing for fatigue, you're playing to kill the opponent with big giants as soon as possible. Sadly, there can be only 2 giants in the deck, so your other go-to minion for the early game is the Twilight Drake, that you can then play on 3 with coin, or on 4 without the coin. And giants and Twilight Drakes still give you a little bit too few threats, so you also want to put in the Lich King, which is basically the only real threat minion that you can use. Maybe you'd use something like Rule, but that's not quite the same thing now, is it? So the Lich King complements your portfolio of big threats that you try to kill your opponent with. Because you're tapping very aggressively, you also want to take advantage of that any way you can. And there is a good card for that, the Hooked Reaver. It's not quite a Molten Giant, but once you hit 15 health it's still of 7/7 taunt, and it can really help defend your other minions or help you put on another threat and go face. If you're playing against control decks, you have to self-inflict basically this damage to get to 15 so that you can get that big Hooked Reaver up. And sometimes you just have to play it as a 4/4 against control. But against aggro, well, the aggro decks will take care of lowering your health total, so you get this out quite nicely. With all these big minions in the deck, it's also useful to use them for defense. So the deck includes Defenders of Argus and Sunfury Protectors, which can turn your big minions into taunts. And sometimes you even want to use these on your smaller minions to turn them into taunts, so that your big minions cannot be reacted to and that your big minions can keep going face. So quite a few choices there. The deck sports the usual Warlock removal pieces. There's 2 copies of Defile, there's 2 copies of Hellfire, there's 1 Siphon Soul in there. But there's no Twisting Nethers, because you want to have the board, you want to hit the face. You don't want to use Twisting Nether to remove everything and then give initiative back to the opponent. You don't want to play that kind of control role. Even against aggressive decks, you try to stabilize with stuff on the board, so that you can immediately push damage on them. And this type of deck obviously also needs some healing. If you go down to 15 health or lower and you have no way to get back up, well, that would be a very tough position for you. And because there's no Gul'dan in this deck, there are some alternative methods used. There's Drain Soul, there's Bladed Beetle, which also serves as an early game minion, and there's a potential taunt target, so then the opponent has to push through that and give you armor. Good stuff. And then there's the Lesser Amethyst Spellstone, and then one of the absolute MVPs of the deck, the Shroom Brewer. Shroom Brewer is actually a really good card in this deck, believe me, it's absolutely stunning. Not only can it heal your face and give you more time, but you can also use it to heal your other minions, so that the opponent can't remove them as easily, and you can push more damage with them, or use them to protect yourself. There's 1 more early game minion in this deck in the form of the Vulgar Homunculus, and a couple of deck cards. There's 1 piece of weapon removal, there's couple of silence cards, just usual stuff that you use in the current meta. Silence is especially good in this deck because you have these big minions that you want to be pushing face damage, so you can silence away taunts, much like many of the more aggressive decks would do. As for the mulligans with this deck, you are always looking for Mountain Giant and Twilight Drake. If you already have a Mountain Giant and it's an aggressive matchup, you don't have to keep other stuff like that. You can go for early game, you can go for these removal pieces like Defiles and Hellfires. If it's a control matchup, you already have a Mountain Giant, you keep as many of the other stuff as you can find. And if you don't have a Mountain Giant, then you can keep a Twilight Drake instead to guarantee that you have at least something to play early on. So look for those big early game minions. And in fast matchups you can also look for some of the early game removal pieces. Defile, Drain Soul, Beetle, you know the drill. And you can also keep the key tech cards in appropriate matchups, like you're facing Warlock, he's going to be Q-block. If you happen to be offered Ooze and Spellbreaker, those are all good. They prevent the Q-block from having an active game plan and give you time to develop yours. Overall a fun little deck. It's not quite the same as the old Handlock was with the Molten Giants and everything, but it does have that similar feel. You're toying around with your life total, you're going quite low in life with this deck, and then you somehow make a comeback from there. So that's a really fun playstyle, very edgy playstyle, very unstable, but fun nonetheless. And with this build, also relatively effective. As always, I've prepared a bunch of gameplay material of this deck for you, and if you enjoy this content then please click the like button and subscribe to my channel for more. And now, let's go take a look at what Handlock has become. Not keeping again, but I am on the coin. I might keep these. Let's see. I tried to find an opportunity to play the Mountain Giant, even though that might not materialize. Alternative, I might have also mulliganed these for AoE. Not sure. If you're hiding your tag, I don't know if I know you. Alright. Well, I can't really get rid of that Dire Mole now, can I? So if there's a Blessing of Might coming on that one, that would be a problem. How badly do I want to go for the Mountain Giant Dream? Not that badly. Let's play the Homunculus. I don't have Defile or Hellfire in hand, so let's try to challenge him a little bit with this. Yep, there's a bunch of folks coming. Is he really sacrificing those? That's interesting. I would not have sacrificed the recruits if I was him. That's cool, that's cool. That means I can afford to tap again. We'll see if I get there eventually. Well, I suppose I will eventually, but how long it will take, I don't know yet. Keep trying to trade away the recruits, because on 5 he might have level up. And I haven't found any AoE pieces. So that's a bunch of bad news. Yep, looks like a preparation for level up to me. Do I tap again? I could tap into Giant, because I haven't found any AoE. Or if I don't tap, then I can simply play the Twilight Drake. Tap Giant, I go down to 18. Well, I need to look for those AoE pieces. I just need to. If I go down to 18, I'll play the Giant on the board. Next turn I can do maybe Defender of Argus, maybe Hooked Reaver. Depends on what his play is. This is not a great level up board. Only 2 minions. That's pretty sweet though. And pushing everything to face. Alright, we're down to 9. So then I can play Hooked Reaver. He could have a Silence in hand. I could play Hooked Reaver, Coin Drain Soul. I could play Defender of Argus, get 2 taunts up. I guess Hooked Reaver, Coin Drain Soul is good enough. Do I leave him with a Divine Shield minion? I guess I will. Let's try this. Hooked Reaver. Then I'm going to coin the Drain Soul on the 2/2. Then I can trade away Recruit with this fellow. And the 3/3 with this fellow. That's a little bit limiting his board size. And get some health back. I would need to top deck a 2-mana card. Sun Fury would be good. Then I could play a 4-mana card and a 2-mana card next turn. Even more mushroom power. It's kind of awkward. Does he also have Lost in the Jungle? Or a Righteous Protector? Ooh, Glacial Shard. That's sweet too. And a Creeper. Wow. 1, 2. Can't get a good Defile off here. Well, I could kill the 5/5. Leave him with nothing but the Corridor Creeper. If I hit here with the Spellstone and Defile, then the Corridor Creeper can trade the Giant. Well, that's an option. It's not a bad option as such, but is it strong enough? I'm at 14, he has 11 on board. Silence plus weapon. I wonder too. I think I have to go with the Defile here. I just have to. This means that he can kill my Giant. But I get to clear so many minions. I would need to find some cheaper cards to be able to play more stuff.
Reporting for duty. Reporting for duty.
This is bad if he finds level up. Hi, Yobble and Luke. Okay, 15. I have Hellfire. This is a board that I want to Hellfire. What if he has level up? Let's say I play the Hooked Reaver. He could have Owl and level up, which would be lethal. Because that would be 12, 14, 16 damage. He could have just level up, which would push 8. But if I Hellfire, I develop nothing. But I will be at 8 mana next turn. That should still be safe, right? I think it will be safe. Let's Hellfire that board away. Hi Legion. What do you think of Reapers of Old cards as raid leader in this meta? Well, we'll see. Refreshing, not really refreshing. More it says that there's a really bad card pool and you don't have a lot of options. Sumadin still waiting for someone to make Even Warlock with Gul'dan and Illidan. You don't want to make Even Warlock with Gul'dan, that's just bad. That's the thing. You don't want to do that. That card has been in his hand the entire time. If it's level up, I play Hooked Reaver. Then he attacks 1 and a 2 and he still has 6, he still has 7 to go through. But if I play Twilight Drake, Argus, it's not that much better. I think I need to play the Hooked Reaver. I need to play Twilight Drake Hooked Reaver. He still needs a decent top deck to have lethal. So we're about to find out. But yeah, you don't want to make Even Warlock with Gul'dan. That defeats the entire purpose of Even. So is that the level up that he has been holding on? Yes, it was the level up. And what is the new top deck? Okay, puts me down to 2. That's cool. I don't mind that. I think I don't mind that anyway. So then I played another Twilight Drake. But what could be the top deck when he chose not to play it? Oh, that's scary stuff. But anyway, this is Twilight Drake Defender. And we kill off one of the recruits. So, if he has silence, his silence is the 5/8, then he has lethal. Silence is lethal. That one I can't help. What was the top deck last turn? It was a Corridor Creeper. Okay. Corridor Creeper is not too bad. I'm still alive here. I'm still alive and kicking. So this one can kill that. This one can kill that. Do I then just play the Lich King? I could also play Gen and another Defender of Argus to get a big taunt wall up. I think I want the taunt wall. I really believe I want the taunt wall here. So we hit there. Then I'll play again. I'll play another Defender of Argus. Let's go for the taunt wall approach.
Speak your peace.
Okay, he's able to get through one of the taunts. And he can keep building. What's that card then? That's a silence, right? That has got to be the silence now. That's the owl. Yep. But my taunt wall made it so that owl wasn't quite enough. 11, 12, 13 damage. I don't have enough to kill him. 2, 4, 6, 8 damage. So if he finds another silence next turn... If I play the Lich King and he finds another silence... That's one way for things to go south. I could also play Mountain Giant, Sun Fury Protector. 4-1 is probably trading, right? I think the 4-1 is trading there. How about Giant and Sun Fury? And then I hit him in the face a little bit. Let's see. Now he needs to get something good. Get AoE from Lich King. And that's 25%. I prefer to try to have better chance than 25% to win the game. That is pretty good. It's enough to keep him alive. That was pretty good. So I need to kill that one. And I need to kill one of these two, right? Well, he can only get one card per turn. I guess I'll still kill one of them. Let's do it like this. Lich King's also taunt. I am perfectly aware of that. I am perfectly aware. Oh no! Divine Favor and 3 new cards. That's another silence. But silence is not enough. That's a taunt, but taunt is not enough. He is very, very dead on board. Odd Paladin. We're looking for the giants. I'm an expert on drafting all the expensive ones.
We have turned our curse into our strength.
While I was testing this, Priest was the matchup that I lost. I lost 2 games in a row against Priest while I was testing this build earlier today. Both of the games I had Giant on 3 and Giant on 4, and Priest had Shadow Word Death on the first Giant and Shadow Word Death on the second Giant. And then Psychic Scream for my next board, and then they had Anduin for my Lich King. And that was game. But we'll see how this one goes. We're looking for those giants. That's what we want. What do we want? Giants. When do we want them? Now. Alright, we tap a Reno again. And I can drop the Plated Beetle.
Let the pain speak to me.
Interesting. I believe I want to deny card draw.
Your magic shall not save you.
Whatever this priest thinks he is, I don't want him to be drawing a lot of cards. Second, is there a specific win condition with this deck? Yes, this deck wins with the giants. This deck wins with incessant pressure from really, really big minions that the opponent cannot answer. That is very specific. Sometimes drakes might do. I always enjoy your comments. Make me laugh. Sad story, sad story. But a true one. I don't know, it might be something else too. Not completely sure what is the correct approach. Something like a combo priest. Who might have mass dispel, but I think their answer is to hit face. I mean, if he has mass dispel and the combo pieces, I die, right? So what can I do? I can't do anything about that. So we need to trust that he doesn't find everything. Here I'm inclined to kill a Twilight Drake, now that the opportunity is being given to me. Because he might have found... Well, if he found Mass Dispel, wouldn't he use it? He would, right? So I could hit there, Defile and Hellfire. That would wipe all of his dragons. That will deal 4 damage to everything. Yeah, I think I like 4/6 dragon on my own side. I could play around Mass Dispel now a little bit. I have the luxury to do that if I want. I think we're going for that line. Defile. Hellfire. I can tap too. Tap last. Mistake. I could have buffed the Spellstone. Well, sometimes happens. Yeah, you're not going to destroy anything from me with that. That's not how this works. So Lich King time. Let's see if he has the Danduin or something. I get a nice Frostmourne. He has the Anduin. They all always have the Anduin. Which is a little bit sad. Do I play the Frostmourne this turn? I could play the Frostmourne and start whacking him in the face. Then I can still get the Hooked Reaver later. I think Frostmourne is the play. I'm going to Drain Soul his minion. I'm going to equip Frostmourne and start whacking him in the face. And let's see. He probably has weapon removal though. Hooked Reaver first. No, wasn't the Hooked Reaver turn. I mean, he has Shadow Word Deaths in that deck. For sure. That was unfortunate. I mean, I of course knew there was the possibility. But still unfortunate. Double Mind Blast is 16 points of burst. But if he also has Sign, yeah, I think he wins. I just can't win priests. I just can't beat them. But we're going with the Hooked Reaver first. And then I want to heal up a little bit. And I guess I will taunt up a little bit as well. Because he can Shadow Word Death the Hooked Reaver. Well, he can still Shadow Word Death the Hooked Reaver and shoot away the Brewer. But we'll see. Good to have him a little bit on the defensive. Is that enough though? That still's the 16 burst. If I hit 6 in that, I can defile that one away. I would need to find something. And I have not been able to get him low enough. That Skulking Geist, Gluttonous Ooze was pretty good. I need to start with the tap. And I find the Giant. And I can play the Giant after the Defile. But I have no doubt that he's going to have a Shadow Word Death there. When I drop the Giant, of course, to threaten him, but I have very little doubt that there is a Shadow Word Death. It's a mind control. I need to go in with these fellows, I believe. Well, they do run mind control. Spiteful, no. Control Priest runs 1 copy of mind control. He can't be spiteful. He has already played shields and visions. This is Zetalot's Mind Blast list. Exactly. Now the thing is, does he have the Mass Dispel in hand already? He might also have a second Duskbreaker, which would kill my minions, but leave his... Oh, yeah. That's pretty nasty. Hey, they have perfect cards. What can you do? When Priest decides that it's time to have perfect cards, it's time to have perfect cards. So I heal 5. I heal to 16. Double Mind Blast is lethal. I don't think there are any outs. I think I need to tap anyway here, but I can't even get to play this. So unfortunately there will be no outs. Double Mind Blast is lethal now. And he also has the coin, so he might have lethal even with just 1 Mind Blast here. I mean, in theory Handlock is really good against that list. But in practice they always draw every single answer. Well, my sample size is 3 games now, so that's of course pretty small sample. No, this is the only play I have. But yeah. I think I'll go with these cards. Let's give this a try. Find some removal pieces. I have 1 threat card. I have 1 card that I can play. Yeah, it's an Odd Rogue. Odd Rogue is another bad matchup. That's also sub 40% win rate for this archetype. Although my particular version is as tailored to beat this deck as possible. It's better against this deck than any other version of this archetype. Well, taking a beating from some Odd Rogues. I can't afford to tap again. He doesn't have the coin. I think I'll give the Homunculus a try. He can of course Cold Blood the Squire. Or he can do that. And then he can also Cold Blood the Squire if he has Cold Blood. I mean, if he has Cold Blood he would always Cold Blood the Squire. So this really tells me that he does not have Cold Blood. I think I need to get on the board. So let's play the Ooze and coin the Beetle. We take away the tempo that he had. So now he can't play something like a Tug, because Tug is 3 mana. He can't Tug and get the dagger down. So multiple options here. I can obviously wipe everything. He's leaving a 4/4 up too scary. I have a read that he does not have Cold Blood, because if he had Cold Blood he would have Cold Blooded the Squire a long time ago. That's going to go down to 3 health, so the Squire and the dagger can still kill this. Which was the limit with the defender, it's fine. Let's do this. Take down the Edwin, take down the Dire Mole. Dagger and Squire can kill the Beetle. But that will still at least give me some armor. Now we're doing quite well so far. I think I can even afford to tap here, because I kind of need more resources. Let Twilight Drake and kill one of those minions. I'm still at 22. That's pretty good though. And all of that is going to go face. Yep. Well, 16. 16 is not terrible. He has the Sinister Strikes, obviously, but this will go down to 4. That's still acceptable, right? I could also wipe these minions with a Defile. I think fighting for the board is still good. Let's try this line. There are no clean trades. Still has a bunch of cards remaining. Okay, so far so good.
This guy's toast.
Okay, I don't mind that. He could have Leroy and stuff coming. How big of a problem is that? Am I scared of dying from 16? Next turn I could play the Lich King. If I have 8, 10 on board, I can't threaten lethal. I think I'll just Siphon Solo Minion here. Trade away the other. I think this is fine. Next turn is Lich King. Hi, Diano. Had a silence, alright. But now the silence has been spent. Well, it was a top deck silence. So it probably doesn't have another silence ready here. I mean, I could also just Drain Soul Defile to kill the board. That is 5 damage on the board. Then I would have 4 mana remaining. And there could very well be some charging things coming. Or I can play the Lich King now. He has 5 on board, 2 from Dagger. If he gets a Cold Blood, he Cold Bloods this, then it can trade away the Lich King alone. Leroy and Dagger could trade away the Lich King. I think I'm still jamming the Lich King here. Let's see about this. Obliterate is not a great card. Death Coil would have been the best, because I could use it either to heal or to deal damage. I figured Leroy was possible. He top decked Cold Blood now. Yeah, he top decked Cold Blood. So he can have, that could be like a Sinister Strike maybe. Let's see, I can do Hooked Reaver Drain Soul. That costs 6. That seems like a fine play. Yeah, let's go for that one. Hooked Reaver and then we Drain Soul that fellow over there. So I'm at 12. We have seen Leroy, we have seen one of the Cold Bloods, one of the deck hands. Now that Baku can be a little bit annoying. Can he kill me next turn? It's possible. What if I hit him in the face, put him down to 6, then I use the Spellstone on Baku and play again. Then I have 6 on board. I guess that is my best line of play here. So we damage the Baku, play it again, and hit face. So now he needs to either kill me or deal with both minions. And that should be pretty difficult to do with all the resources he has already spent. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the show, please click the like button and subscribe to my channel for more.